shit. Oh boy.
Okay,
What happens when that happens?
Nothing. We just start over.
We just start over?
Yep.
All right, sorry. I knocked out the power. So this is Jim and Friends Read the News. My name is Jim Van Vanderen, and I am the producer of this show. The things you will hear over the next hour, represent the views of Jim Van Vanderen and the people making them. All opinions and questions in no way represent River West Radio, and the sole responsibility of the producer, guests, and callers. River West Radio is not liable for any legal issues arising from the content of this program. Hello, everybody. This is, like I said, Jim Van Vanderen with Zavla Play and Gabe Hammer. So sorry about the knocking the power out. Will they hear the first part of the power getting knocked out, or are we just gonna be here after that?
You'll hear it start, like a false start, and then start again.
Okay, cool. So that's what happened there, everyone.
Yeah, we have a little orange plug-in. You pull on it, and the whole thing goes down.
Yeah, I did that. Sorry.
Right.
So today is August. What are we on? August 5th.
August 5th.
There we go.
2012.
Yep. And as always, it's Sunday, and I would like to start with the Packers news. They had a family night last Friday night, and this last Friday night. 70,000 people attended that Packers scrimmage. It's just a scrimmage among the Packers offense and the Packers defense. 70,000 people. So it's kind of unheard of, but
oh really?
As far as I know, everything went well. I saw some of it, and things look good. And next week is the first exhibition season, so football season is amongst us.
Yeah, and we're gonna have a new Packer show coming.
Oh yeah.
It's called Packerverse.
Packerverse?
Yeah.
Kind of like the universe, but the Packerverse.
Something like that, or like, yeah, I thought maybe he meant like perverse, but yeah, it's
or Packers verse, like then Packers verse whatever their opponent is.
Not, I think it's more like Packerverse the way you say, like universe.
Packer universe.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's on Wednesdays at 7 p.m.
All right, so all you Packers fans, Wednesday 7 p.m.
Yeah.
Check out the Packerverse.
Yep, and it's will be by a notable person will be doing the show, but I don't want to give away.
You can't give it away. All right, you're gonna have to tune in to find out.
Right.
So Wednesday at 7 o'clock.
And
Packerverse.
I don't know if it'll start this weekend, this week, maybe the next week or the week after.
All right.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. Well, it's not season yet. Like I said, exhibition. First game, I believe they play the San Diego Chargers at home, I believe, in the first exhibition game of the season. So anyway, we'll keep you posted, especially now that it's going to be Packer weekend every weekend for the next 20 weeks. Well, hopefully beyond that, because then they'll be in the playoffs. So let's hope for 21, 2, 3, like 25 weeks. That would be all the way through Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Wait, nope, 26 weeks, because there's a bye week in there. Anyway, for the next like half a year, we will be we'll be keeping you up with what's going on with the Packers at the top of the, well, maybe not top of the hour. If there's a Packerverse radio station now, I can mix that in a little bit more. But also, what's going on, since we're on sports, the Olympics. Everyone's got Olympic fever.
Right. And and we don't really, well, we've got a few things we could talk about the Olympics, but we try to cover the news that doesn't get covered in the other.
That's true.
In the other news media. But we will, we won't. We're not afraid to talk about the popular stuff or the main headlines either.
I caught a little bit of the Chinese volleyball versus the U.S.
Oh yeah, how'd that go?
Pretty good. It really was a good match, but it looked like the U.S. were like kind of like losing in the beginning of the games, and then when it got towards the end, they would kick it in high gear.
Oh, all right.
And then,
did they end up winning then?
Yeah, they won.
Nice. There we go. Speaking of that, with the U.S. and China, as we like to bring a lot of China news, the U.S. and China are in a dead heat still for the the overall medal standings. China,
dead heat.
China
Okay.
has 61 medals total, and U.S. has 60.
Wow.
And they've been pretty much neck and neck, fighting back and forth the
Yeah, it's
entire
funny.
Olympics between U.S. and China.
It's funny how you have the Olympics where it's like an athlete competing against other athletes to get the gold medal or
Yep.
the silver, bronze, but then you have entire countries
Oh, right.
competing with those gold medals to see who's got the most of those, and then you also have athletes themselves
Right.
competing with historic other athletes who have gotten lots of gold medals. And what's the swimmer's name again?
Michael Phelps.
Yeah, Michael Phelps. I think he's breaking the world record of gold medals.
He
right?
has. He has.
Now
gold
he's,
medals.
he's retiring now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's retiring, but
Well,
with the highest number of gold medals in the
retiring
history
on
of
top.
Right.
in the history of gold medals being awarded, I guess.
Yep, most gold medals ever.
Also, well, go ahead. You've got more about the Olympics.
With that, in third place is Great Britain, who's hosting it with 38.
Uh-huh.
But they're, it's U.S. and China right now.
Right.
They're just battling. And China is beating us in the one that counts the gold medals. 30 golds to our 28 golds.
30 gold.
It's close.
30 to 28, 61 to 60 overall. So.
Oh, you're saying golds versus all medals?
Yeah, right. So when they do the medal count, they count gold, silver, and bronze.
Yeah.
Are we
But-
winning in silvers?
I believe we are winning in silvers.
Ah.
Well, although it's so close.
That's kind of like, are we winning in second places?
Yeah.
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 You know what second place is?
Hey,
the
silver,
first to
silver's
lose.
got good value to it, though. You know? Price of silver is it's going up steadily.
Oh, you think those are pure silver?
No.
Probably,
not.
actually. The silver
think
medals
so?
are, but the gold, I
There's
think
no
are
way. Those
not
things
No
are
way.
huge.
That'd be a lot of money.
Yeah.
You see how big those
But silver,
gold medals
yeah,
are?
that'd be worth
Yeah.
Jeez.
holding on to and selling at some point.
Yeah, for
So-
sure.
Oh, and with that also Usain Bolt, which is the best name ever for a track star.
Yeah.
'Cause you can't
Yeah, yeah,
really
yeah.
beat that one. He won his 100-meter sprint, beating his fellow Jamaican, and the U.S. guy took bronze, but he ran it in 9.63, which apparently was an Olympic record, but not
Yeah.
the world record
Uh-huh.
that he also set, which was 9.58. So he was 0.05 seconds slower than the fastest he's ever run it. But they were saying he's going roughly, when he's running that fast, about 40 feet a second.
Which tells me almost nothing. But 40 feet in 1 second.
1 second.
1 second.
So
40
every
feet.
second he's going
40 feet is, well,
feet.
30 feet is the height of a building. 1 second. That's pretty far.
Yeah, he's going pretty quick, I think.
Yeah, he's going really fast.
Yeah.
How
I wanna
fast? How many miles per
That's
hour?
what I want to know.
Oh, I know. Miles per hour versus feet per second.
Yeah,
I'll look
the
that up.
internet might be able to do that kind of math. Check that out. But yeah, so if he's going 100 meters in 9.63 seconds, I don't know. I'm guessing. I think it's 26ish. I think I've heard that before.
Uh-huh.
It's about 26 miles per hour.
1 mile per hour equals 1.46 feet per second. That doesn't make any sense at all. Oh, that's 1 mile per. Okay, yeah, of course. And he's going 40 feet per second.
40 feet a second. But
40 feet per second is 27.27 miles per hour.
And while isn't as fast as some like cheetahs and stuff go, the
Right.
thing that we were talking about, humans
close, though.
can run the farthest or the longest. They can just keep running. We have the
Really?
endurance
Better
and
than any
stamina.
other-
We're better than any animal.
Better than the turtle?
I think so, because I think the turtle doesn't run.
No. Well, it does
Ever.
run, but it.
Yeah, I don't think
It
the
kinda
turtle
like-
ever qualifies as a
Yeah.
run.
Well, it's
but-
carrying a whole house on its.
But
Yeah,
bears,
that's true.
bears are real quick for like short little.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, all kinds of animals
Shots.
are quick, fat. A short, we're way down on the list.
Yeah, a little
But in
short
long
is-
distance running, we're among the best, or probably the best.
Well, we can go the longest without
Yeah,
stopping.
that's why we can run a marathon. You know. we
yeah,
can-
you just keep running
yeah.
without
Just
stopping.
go and go and go.
That's how we hunted back in the day.
Right.
Just wore them out.
Yep.
It's like
Yeah.
we were like Rocky in the hunter-gatherer days.
Yeah.
We just kept on going.
Yeah.
Nothing stopping us.
We're out of Apollo, yes.
Yeah.
Well, right.
Mr. T.
Rocky,
That's how you have
Rocky
Mr. T.
is a product of those people too. So
Yeah.
I mean, the fiction of the real. I guess he's a fiction character.
Yes. And he has the eye of the tiger.
Yeah.
So that's enough of the sports. I think we've covered sports for the first sixth.
We can jump to science because there's also a pretty big event happening in NASA world.
Yep.
The Mars Science Laboratory. Well, the Mars lander is prepared to land, I think, at 1 a.m.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, and 1:31 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But it's going to take something like 9 minutes just for that information to get to Earth.
Yeah, that's what they always say.
And it takes about 7 minutes for it to land. And it's called the 7 most dangerous minutes in its journey to Mars.
Yep.
And so in those 7 minutes, it could crash, and we wouldn't even know that it crashed till 2 minutes after it crashes.
Yep.
Or doesn't land properly. It's pretty amazing. I watched a video about it. First, it opens up it does sort of like an Apollo landing,
parachute,
where it's this parachute, and it's the most high speed parachute ever designed, because it's going like, I'm just guessing, like 5,000 miles an hour or something.
Right.
It's been traveling at 8,000 miles per hour. So it's probably traveling at 8,000 miles per hour.
And then the parachute comes up.
And the parachute brings it to a stop, or brings it to an abrupt slowdown. But even with the parachute, it gets to 200 miles an hour. So it's still headed towards Mars at 200 miles an hour after the parachute has brought it down.
Is that how fast it hits?
So this is what they do. Then what they do is it ejects itself from the parachute.
Okay.
And shoots jets in the opposite direction. So it propels itself in the opposite backwards as it's going towards Mars. So it goes towards Mars, propelling energy or engines facing Mars. But then it still can't land it that way because it'll be too dusty and mess up all the instruments. So then it'll be hovering above Mars, maybe like 100 feet or 10 feet or 15 feet, something like that. And it drops the lander out of its body to land very gently with like guide wires. And it just lays it down gently onto Mars.
Really?
But again,
that
at
sounds
that point,
so elaborate.
Yeah, and at that point, it's still a problem because the thing itself, the jet propeller, then they have to be worried about that. So then the jet propeller has to just shoot away and go go crash somewhere far away.
Somewhere away.
Yeah, and then it'll be sitting properly. It's an extremely. There's like thousands and thousands of things that could go wrong, and every single one has to go right.
Couldn't they just put it in a big box with tons and tons of like bubble wrap and packing peanuts?
I'm sure they've thought about that.
That just sounds like such an elaborate.
All this has to happen without any human being anywhere, nearby.
Wow.
It. So
that's straight out of James Bond.
Yeah, or out of like some alien invasion movie or something. Yeah.
It's gotta hover the
We are
lander.
the alien invaders of Mars.
Wow, that's funny.
Yeah.
All right, well, good luck, Mars lander.
Yeah, we're actually the alien invaders, right? Landing on Mars.
We are.
We're doing the thing that we always fear some other planet will do to us.
We're probably gonna go in there and kill all the Martians.
Well, we'll probably go there and just take little samples. Of rocks.
But say there was some tiny microorganism going on in Mars we had no idea about.
Well, yeah, we might.
We'd probably we might.
Or what if they're people, Martians, who are like the size of bed bugs or something? Teeny tiny ones that no one can see.
Yep. And we're gonna come in with our stuff, and it's
we have no idea.
The jet propulsion we're like putting down is like they're like carbon monoxide, and we're gonna suffocate them all. it's gonna be like Columbus coming over to America again, and the Martians are gonna get some foreign Earth disease.
Well, you know how
oh man,
did you ever see the movie Contact?
They're gonna become drunk.
Didn't need a microphone for that.
I thought I was gonna say something big. You know?
All right, never mind.
Yes.
But I'm sorry. What were you gonna say?
Have you ever seen the movie Contact?
Yes.
And that's based on this lab or this place that they try to send signals out to outer space and make contact.
Yep.
I don't know if you guys maybe some of you heard this. Stephen Hawking last year, I think, announced that was a really bad idea. We should not be trying to make contact with alien other forms. Intelligence that's out there that might be more advanced than us.
They're gonna get our signal and come in and take us out?
Yeah, that they would basically,
be like,
in a sense,
one.
He was saying, just look at history. Look at what Columbus did to the Native Americans.
No, I think that really probably is a bad idea.
We should be kind of smart about
just go incognito for a while.
Yeah,
we can't even deal with ourselves.
Let them come to us.
Yeah, and if they're that far, like, much further advanced than we are, it's just like their global warming problems probably even worse. So they'll just
exactly. If they're advanced like us, they've already destroyed their planet. Yeah. So another big news thing, of course, this one again goes without saying, is the horrifying shooting that we are having.
Oh yes,
happened in our
bring that up
in our backyard, in Milwaukee,
Oak Creek.
7 people dead, including the gunman.
So what was the name of the temple?
What's the official narrative now? I've heard
it's a Sikh temple. It's a Sikh temple in this news article. I could maybe try to find better details. Let me see. But maybe you guys can discuss it while I do that.
Well, basically, what I know of, at least of the shooter, was he was a military guy. So, he did it like a raid. He knew what he was doing.
Well, of course, this is all speculation.
No, this is true.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, he was a military guy, 40s, Caucasian, and I don't know. The speculation is he thought, that they were like Arabs or something, even though they're Sikhs, which are completely different, more like Hindus, which, he shouldn't have any problem with.
But they do wear head coverings.
They wear the head coverings, so yeah, he probably drives by. Oh yeah, and the guy lives in Cudahy, so he's probably going by there. He's like, "Oh, these guys, I gotta do something for America."
This is speculative.
That's speculation. But yeah, basically he's a nut job who has a gun, and
also speculative. But if you go and kill somebody,
well,
I
yeah,
think
if you're gonna do something like that, you gotta be a nut job. You can't say that's speculation.
Or at least,
here are some facts. The alleged gunman was a heavy-set 40-year-old Caucasian male.
Yep.
Who lived in the area.
Yep. Heard he was balding too, and yeah, and I heard that he didn't live in the area very long. He's originally from North Carolina.
Yeah.
So.
Well. Anyway, horrible thing.
Yeah.
The news, the mainstream news, your local news has been covering it nonstop, and
yeah. So we really, part of our job is to tell you news that hasn't been, isn't always on the front headlines. So there's plenty of information, and it's one of those things too. We always want to know everything right away.
Right.
But just wait 2 days and you'll know, or wait a month and you'll know. Well, you'll really know what's going on.
Yeah. What are we gonna do right this second that the police and everyone who's supposed to be handling it,
Right. Yeah. No, it's a funny thing about us, and news, is that we seem to want to know the news right away.
Right.
There's something about breaking news, and I don't count myself as a different person. Like when something happens, I want to know all the details. I want to know all about it, but realistically, what difference does it make to know every single thing about some news item? Like the shooting that happened with the Batman movie theater. Right. What difference would it make if I found out all the details next month once they've done a lot of research and figured it all out?
It would be probably better to get the news at that point.
Right. I mean, at that point, you're going to make a lot more. You'll know a lot more. You'll understand it a lot better. But there's just something about knowing the news, knowing what's going on when it happens that just appeals to us. And it makes me wonder: is it, to what degree is news entertainment? Like what does news really do for us culturally? How does it help us?
That's a good question. I don't know if it does necessarily help us. It keeps us informed, which is good.
But what is that?
But yeah, exactly.
What is being informed?
Well, there's that. Ever see the BBC series Disinformation? It was like a TV series for like a season. They went on.
Really?
They went on. They have DVDs now. They distribute.
Wait.
I think the
Philip
Philip K. Dick documentary was by the company that used to do Disinformation. Now they just they distribute movies. I don't know if they make them and stuff, but they had the BBC series for a while. Yeah, it's on here.
This thing's messed up.
All right. But anyway, so the whole point of that Disinformation series was news that you couldn't trust. Mm-hmm. Kind of like the whole idea was to. They used to start it out with their point of their show was to unbrainwash you, that the news has been brainwashing you, and their whole point.
And that's where I question: are you getting informed by the news?
Right.
Because when you receive this information, especially when it's comes to you so quickly without any time to like make sense of it.
Right.
It's easy to sort of like sway people's political perspectives and so on through the news, especially if you just accept mainstream news on face value.
And then the really scary thing is you get this news right away.
Yeah.
It makes you have a then like idea.
Yeah.
Or you come to maybe a conclusion that is a little early.
Right.
And then that kind of, since it's the first thing, your first impression is always the strongest, right?
Yeah.
Then that sticks in your head a little bit more.
Right.
And then when it comes to hearing new things and changing your mind, people don't like to generally change the mind. Well, I think there's a tendency to not want to change your mind, which because in a way it's your brain giving into its inability to be correct.
Yeah.
So all that we perceive isn't always necessarily correct, but that's kind of goes against, I think, our nature.
Right. Well, going along the lines of this, I have a question for you guys. What do you think about the idea when the last shooting happened, which was pretty recently? This America's notorious for it, but it happens in a lot of countries as well nowadays. The discussion of, is it appropriate to discuss gun control? A lot of politicians came out and said it's inappropriate to discuss gun control at this time.
Oh, yeah.
Right, well, after the shooting.
Yeah, after Columbine, there was the NRA thing, right?
Right, they staged a protest or something?
No. They were supposed to have their meeting or something.
Yeah, it was planned ahead of time.
It was a planned NRA meeting.
Yeah.
But they didn't cancel it, and then
they didn't cancel it?
No, they didn't.
And then people got upset about it.
Yeah.
Because how could you have this meeting, although they planned it months ahead of time?
At the same time, they felt like they were under attack too, and they had to say something
Well, when it's a planned
Second Amendment.
When it's a planned meeting like that, I don't think you should stop it, because then you're actually giving in to the terrorists.
Well, and what's the NRA gonna do anyway? Just change their mind? I guess this gun thing was bad. Well, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, it's really interesting. Obama didn't talk about gun control after the Batman thing. The Batman. I don't know what you call it. I call it the Batman movie shooting.
Aurora.
Batman shooting.
is that, I mean, it just seems strange to me that the president would not at least discuss it. You know, it seems like an important time.
Well, it seems like that would be a time to bring an issue like that up. Yeah. Although then people think it's insensitive, so you got both sides.
Insensitive to discuss. I guess it's insensitive to bring it up in the sense of saying maybe we should not control guns because that would be insensitive. It seems like for people whose family members were just killed by them. But on the other hand,
that's being biased,
is it insensitive to say? Yeah, then you have a biased discussion because is it insensitive to say, hey, maybe we should control guns a little bit when a guy can do this?
If someone really wants to get a gun, they're just gonna go get a gun. You know,
not in France, not in China, not in France.
But out here, and you know,
you have to really.
That's what the whole discussion.
The people that do the big, you know, shootings and stuff usually don't own them legally anyway.
That's true.
This guy did.
I think.
Yeah, I believe that.
Well,
he did. Yeah, right. And I don't know about the.
I don't know how. I mean, I guess.
No,
I don't know. Never mind. Go ahead.
Columbine, they got them, I think, from their dad or something. Like they got them.
Right. So they didn't steal them from some drug dealer or buy them from like some underground mafia or something like that. They got them through legitimate means.
Yeah.
I mean, they were there. They were available.
Yeah.
The same way as a set of car keys is available to like a 15-year-old if they want to steal their parents' car. Yeah. You know. I have a theory about gun control. I don't know, but I don't know if we want to go down this road if it's too tangent.
No,
go for it.
Did you have anything to say about it, Justin? Or what your opinion is on whether or not people should discuss gun control when something like this erupts?
Discuss it. You know, that's fine. But it's like what you hear mainly is just banning. That's all they want to do. It's like how much more do we have to like endure? Yeah. And that it's not open for discussion with with those people.
Like we said, it becomes a biased discussion. Yeah. And you cannot and you can't be the guy for firearms because now you are the insensitive jerk. Yeah. To say such a thing
quite frankly,
at such a time.
Politicians, I don't think have any, because they don't really need to worry about having a gun. You know, they have security. Yeah. And
not local.
Yeah, but
even
local
still, politicians don't have any security. Yeah, I think a lot of them are probably under more attack than the national ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I know Lena Taylor. She concealed carries. You know.
We've covered those MMSD meetings where she is.
Oh, really?
Much.
Yeah. She's packing.
And she's a lefty, right?
She's for it.
Is she? No, Lena Taylor, right?
Lena Taylor's a Democrat.
She's a Democrat, yeah. Maybe not like a hardcore.
I don't like saying left or right. She says she's a Democrat, or she's on the Democratic ticket. That's what I'll say.
Yeah.
Well, here's my thinking about it. This is the thing I would propose is to think about gun control in the same way that we think about nuclear arms races, and to find out, first of all, what are the concerns of people who want to own guns, because those are legitimate concerns, and then figure out what amount of arming the public should have access to, and not say there's no limit to what amount of arming, because of course you don't want people to carry dirty bombs, you don't want people to have nukes in their houses, so there's got to be a limit, and so the question is what amount. I just wonder if there's a way to bring gun like NRA people to the table with the people who are opposed to the rampant the rampant amount of weaponry that people have access to in this country, and sort of figure out like how can we kind of bring it back the way that you do with détente with nuclear between countries. In other words, saying, okay, what is your fear as a person who wants to own weaponry? What is your fear, and what exactly is a scenario that you envision?
Yeah.
And like maybe one of the scenarios that people envision is an idea of course, like getting robbed. So everyone should be able to own a weapon in order to protect themselves in case of a robbery.
Right.
And there should be a way to regulate that. Like, why wouldn't that be something you'd want to regulate very strongly? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're an honest citizen, why wouldn't you be willing to submit yourself to all the same checks and balances that the motor vehicles department puts you through in order to drive a vehicle, which includes like not being allowed if you have a problem with alcohol or like if you're like if there's some event involving like owning a gun and alcohol or well, I don't want to get too detail-y about it, but my idea was figuring out what people who want to own all of this weaponry what is their fear, and how much weaponry does an individual merit in order to mitigate that fear? Like, for example, the fear of a fascist takeover of the country, because I feel like that's the unspoken thing.
Assault rifles.
I think that's where you actually need. That's where your small Michigan militias and those
armor-piercing weapon.
I mean, to go back to like the Minutemen in the Revolutionaries, like
it's the idea. I think that's the unspoken thing. That's the unspoken
why
we are afraid of a fascist takeover.
Right. We're afraid of 1984.
From any one end of the spectrum of politics. It could be a right-wing fascist takeover. It could be a left-wing fascist takeover. Regardless, how much weaponry does an individual in America merit having in order to mitigate a fascist takeover?
That's a good question.
And then figuring out what that would be so that everyone could kind of be in agreement. Okay, this is the amount of weapons we should be able to have access to. And maybe even setting up means in which people can arm themselves in such a circumstance, I don't know. I just wonder if there's a way to kind of like bring those things to the table and talk about it, because
that sounds tough.
Because the other thing is, what about people who are imbalanced and completely, really shouldn't be owning weapons?
Well, with that community brainstorming thing that was covered by MATA, that was gun control and castle law, and was one of the big hot issue of the it was a candidates forum.
The Batman thing,
It was the candidates forum for the state assemblies.
What was
there's like 5 or 6 districts with all the candidates on it, just letting people know what was going on.
Everyone except for I think Aisha Griffin, was just all about getting rid of concealed carry, getting rid of, and then and getting rid of the castle law, but. She was, Aisha Griffin was just more, because I think what was she saying? She was saying just that what the law had become, versus to like how it started, it got extended out to inside your car and like around your block and like, I think it's kind of, and then, and she was just, had, with the concealed carry, she was just like, it was like a terminology. I forgot what she had some.
Anyway, with that had to do with that exact question as to how much freedom a person does have with firearms, and then like owning and being able to do something. And the one candidate was actually, I think 2 brought up psychologist exams for getting guns.
Yeah.
So you don't have to see a doctor or anything to get a gun. You just have to have a clean history.
Yeah.
Which doesn't necessarily. I mean, that's not so safe.
Yeah, you could be.
You could be completely off the wall.
And of course, if you took it from another perspective, if you were to say, okay, look at it from another perspective, what if someone is imbalanced? Or it could be called, or I should say, what if someone could be called imbalanced?
Oh, right, because that's also subjective.
Because of it's so subjective, and then in that way you're like restricting their rights to protect themselves.
Yeah, and then who's to say that any doctor couldn't just say that to anybody that they wanted to then, for some underhanded reason,
right?
And it's, I don't know. I always think it's like it's just like a reactionary discussion too, So it's kind of like why did it happen? Why are these things happening? I mean, like really, like around here, the most people I think would want to have a gun in their house just for protection in case, you know, because as soon as like there's no guns, then, you know, you can't ever get rid of all the guns, you know, and they're always going to wind up in, I mean, law-abiding citizens are going to turn their guns over or whatever, you know, and then non-law-abiding citizens
have,
you know,
guns stuck all over their house.
Yeah.
Well, there's one thing that they can do buybacks of guns. They can try to buy guns.
Well, yeah,
off
that's
the
what they did in Australia, and like.
Because
I mean,
people who don't,
there,
people who are non-law-abiding often need money, you know, for one reason or another. Unless they're like organized crime people, maybe.
I still don't think they're gonna sell their gun, you know, or they might steal somebody else's gun to sell it, you know. But you know, I don't know. But you know, but I mean, it's just really more of like, it's not really an issue of guns, you know. It's an issue of the it's an issue of just why do we have to worry about having guns in our house? You know, why are we scared, and like why do you feel this impending?
Why do we live in
like it's gonna get worse and worse, and I want to have a gun, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
well,
that's
yeah.
really
I mean, it's true that the more things get, the worse things get, which is where it's going with the general feeling. I mean, here on Center Street, we already had a person who was murdered, just you know, 3 blocks from here for no reason.
Right.
We had a friend of mine, and you guys probably know, was shot, almost killed, shot at 3 times, almost killed, just a block up here. It's just lucky that he didn't die.
Right.
I've had, we have about a murder a year in River West, probably at this point. And,
at least, I don't know.
And then you have things like this, like crazy shooting guys, who just go off the deep end. Right. There was the Batman thing. There's a Sikh temple today, and then there was the Gifford thing with that guy.
Yeah.
It just seems like the things are kind of getting worse, and so it is definitely worth trying to figure this out somehow.
I do feel like it's getting worse, but I wonder how much worse it's been, because there's been political assassinations for how long? There's been shootings like this, like the Falling Down movie with Michael Douglas. There was the
well, that's a movie.
Yeah, but the Virginia Tech, that was what.
You remember the
Tech,
sniper guy
on
the East Coast?
Yeah,
I remember I was driving around on the East Coast. Yeah, it was like Virginia.
That was Virginia Tech.
And then but then it was in the Carolinas.
So it seems like this happens,
Yeah,
every
but
now
I mean,
and then.
this is
I don't
all.
know if it's worse. Is it worse?
Oh yeah, I don't think this is. This is not par for the course.
Well,
Is it worse,
I
or
wouldn't
do we
be
just
surprised
hear
if we
more?
see another one soon too. You know?
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if we get another one.
I mean,
in
I
a
wasn't
month
at all
or two.
surprised to hear. I was surprised to hear it was here.
Yeah,
in Milwaukee,
because just imagine you've got people you've got the NRA making it. Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if the rules have gotten easier, but you can buy stuff online. You've got a lot more disgruntlement. You got a lot more frustration.
Well, I think that's the real issue.
You've got a lot more
That's where the disgruntlement and frustration comes from.
Right-wing
Not the guns.
fervor, this kind of anger that's being built up. Kathleen Gifford, was that her name?
Yeah.
That seems like it was really provoked by some of the right-wing talk stuff.
She was actually really pro Second Amendment too.
Was she?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then there was good old Sarah Palin, who actually had
put targets on
vehicles.
Yeah.
But
that's what I
not
so
funny,
there's
but
this encouragement in a sense.
Yeah, but that's the kind of stuff.
But mainly, I would say the main thing would be just that we are in very unstable times, and things and people's lives are getting increasingly. People are just getting freaked out, and then you have the most unstable people among us are gonna flip and do some crazy stuff.
That's true. Yeah. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm for more gun control, but I don't think that's the Band-Aid on. I think that's the Band-Aid on the wound, as opposed to the actually addressing addressing it at the roots.
So what would you address?
I don't. That's the big question. I'm not sure.
Unemployment, most likely.
Unemployment.
Well, and then underemployment.
Education is always a big thing.
Yeah.
I mean, just.
But those are huge. Those are really big. So in other words, there's nothing we can really do.
I don't think there's anything you can do right now. It's
going
to take 10. It's like a problem you have to take 10, 20 years of progressing for it to actually take
hold. Well, what
hold.
about things like armor armor-piercing
bullets.
Yeah.
Is that? I mean,
see, that's like
that's
once
getting
again,
into-
that's like fascists are taking over.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That's like-
that's true.
And
Yeah, and at that point, it's like, okay, say the fascists take over, you know, say our army is being run by some
Say
authoritarian
Canadians.
regime.
So okay,
It's a Canada.
say we have the Dr. Strangelove scenario.
Yeah.
Some general somewhere
Just flips.
gets his whole unit to come in and attack
Right.
us right here in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do we do?
Or let's say we
don't know.
dip into a kind of a civil war
I
type
think
of
enough
situation.
handguns, you know, maybe
Enough handguns? I don't know.
stop them.
You need grenades at that point.
Yeah, I mean, at that point,
nothing can beat
what-
explosives.
There's always going to be a guy too with like, yeah,
Landmines.
Yeah, it's in his cellar,
We have
you
to
know.
booby
Just-
trap. Yeah, River West
We
just
can
be
always-
booby trapped.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh well, I don't know. I guess it's just we just gotta.
I don't know. I guess I don't think there is an easy
We're not gonna
fix.
solve this problem on Jim and Friends Read the News tonight. I
No.
don't think.
Although we
So,
did try. So
Really
like-
quick, did you hear? I don't know. I heard there was a few of these, but
Yeah,
This-
four guys in the shooting. That's what
Yeah.
you're saying?
there's like
What's
a
that?
few eyewitnesses. I don't know, but this is the one I found. But yeah, it was like,
You want to play it?
well, I don't know. I can just
Plug it in.
talk.
Yeah, let's plug it in.
grab that.
Oh,
Grab that. Hold on. Yes, give us a second here. We're gonna plug in for. What do we have here? Can we get an introduction to this clip?
Well,
Introduction to the clip, please.
okay.
Gabe,
This is
talking to the mic.
this is some eyewitnesses from the scene today
Nope.
of the shooting, and they are claiming that it was very well coordinated.
Well,
And the guy
He
knew
was
what
an
he was
army guy.
doing. You know, there was gas release and, you know, a cloud. And some people are saying that there were four guys.
oh
But
wow.
Where are the other three? Who knows?
really?
Yeah.
The Sikh temple? Are you
Yeah.
talking about the Sikh? Oh wow, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
It's
either.
kind of like,
Yeah,
there's like all these different.
There's a lot of different people saying stuff.
And we're just relaying information back and forth and trying to get as much info as possible.
What, if any, have you learned from him about what transpired inside, or from your mother?
So the most I can learn, or the most I know as of now, is that there are multiple shooters. There's multiple people. It was a very well coordinated thing. It wasn't haphazard, and I think that's why police and everybody are taking the proper, protocol to get the situation under control.
Not trying to jeopardize anything and describe what's happening currently, but as far as your mother, she was at the time that we spoke at one point hiding. Did she give you any sense for how many people at that time, at least, were hiding?
The sense over there was when she started hiding in the closet, she didn't know how many people were out there. So she just kept saying, they are out there, they are out there, they are out there. And she kept hanging up the phone every time she would hear something.
Wow. So yeah, okay. I was assuming one person, but yeah, no, they're definitely sounding like
I
more
know,
than one.
like, they got a lot of roads blocked off in
Yeah.
Cudahy, like the area where the guy who got shot
Yeah.
lived. They got the whole like neighborhood evacuated, and
Oh, I know
Really?
the FBI is on
fire
it.
trucks and stuff like
Uh-huh.
going up on the guy's roof and just trying to figure out any evidence. Or,
So definitely more conspiracy than,
Yeah.
well, sounding like more conspiracy
Well,
than
that's
just
kind
a
of
lone gunman.
yeah. This makes you wonder. I mean, how could they make the mistake that Sikhs are Muslims? That seems bizarre if they have this well coordinated thing. But
Well,
we're gonna find all this out.
Yeah. We'll find out later.
Well,
I don't know.
yeah.
Crazy. Maybe we should leave it on that way. I think we covered
Well, and that
this
too is
pretty
like
well.
how many? What was it like last year around this time? They were just talking about just out of nowhere, just our new thing we had to worry about, domestic terrorists. You know, we have to pass all these laws so like we can like catch these domestic terrorists. We've never really seen much of it. It's never been
Yeah,
that
that's
big of
true.
a threat. But then all of a sudden this stuff
there's
starts
more.
happening. You gotta
Yeah.
ask questions.
Yeah. I don't know.
well, let's look at some other stories.
Well, okay. No, I was just gonna ask you one thing, Justin, about the domestic terrorists. What do you think about that? Do you think that that's something that's happening? Is it something that's being?
I'm sure there are, maybe, but no, I really don't think the Colorado guy was like just, I mean, there's too many weird things like with that story.
Oh, so you don't think that
narrative.
it's just random? You think that that's part of something bigger, or you suspect that it might be?
I suspect, yeah. Well, I mean,
I'm not doubting you.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, because I did think about that when it happened. I thought, well, I wonder, is this just
it's how
because
did he
no
get
one's
in there,
talking about the motive or the reason, which is what we're waiting for. Those things take a long time. But you do wonder, could there be something where people are communicating, online or whatever, and coming up with these things together, and then they're popping up, I don't know. There's just a thought, that there's a possibility that there's some coordination happening between these events, but this is, it's too early to tell.
Yeah, no, I don't know about this one, but I just thought that that particular eyewitness was pretty interesting. But there was a lot of that too, like with the Colorado thing. People were describing a guy in like plaid shirt was shooting them. It's like, how do you mix that up? Because this guy was in full tactical gear, know. But then they were also saying there's, multiple shooters and whatnot. So.
Well, that just goes with the perception thing again.
Yeah.
Like perception from news stories, perception, even eyewitnesses have been known to completely miss what the guy was wearing, and what they remember is not at all accurate.
No, I mean
to
that
what
too.
They
It's
were
like, who
actually
knows?
doing, but in that of time,
this guy seems like
what
he was.
you remember isn't.
He was pretty with it. Like he was watching it. This guy from this clip anyway seems
the Milwaukee
pretty reliable.
Or the Oak Creek.
Yeah.
Is it Oak Creek?
Oak Creek.
Oak Creek shooting. Yeah.
Oh
no, I know. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier today. How, how many conspiracy theories probably just are fueled by people that were there that really don't even know what they saw, and
right,
and mixing
that
up stuff.
happens a lot.
Then that becomes
Oh yeah. So as we covered that with 3/4 of the show, I want to bring up taxes. So from gun control to taxes.
Okay.
Cathedral Square Park on the downtown east side is proposing a tax for the park. So in that area is downtown's east side residents and businesses would be taxed 25 cents on every $1,000 assessed value, amounting to $50 annually for the owner of a condo assessed at $200,000. So you would be paying $50 to help this park, Cathedral Square Park, put up a band, like a band shell, and permanent restrooms, and then to upkeep the park, and grass and.
So wait, run this by me again.
Yeah.
This is when we pay our taxes at the end of the year. There's going to be an assessed amount.
If you live on downtown's east side, they're gonna.
Okay, so it's just for that zone.
Right. So what they're gonna do is they're gonna bring in the old land assessment team there, assess everybody's land values again, I think, and find out how much your stuff's worth. And depending on how much your stuff's worth, you're gonna be taxed 25 cents for every $1,000 assessed, roughly amounting to $50 for a $200,000 owned, whatever you own. So if you own a condo, restaurant, whatever, $200,000 would be $50 a year for to rebuild Cathedral Square Park and to make it nicer and put up a band shell. Although some people don't like the idea of a band shell because they think that's going to wreck the park. Because they always put up that tent.
That sucks for those people.
Put up the tent.
Who have to pay taxes for the thing that they think is going to suck.
Right. Yeah. So that's my.
That's how I feel about stadiums.
That's my question. Is how do we feel about tax? I always like that type of stuff. I don't own anything. I'm not a property owner, so it really doesn't affect me.
Yeah.
So I'm always for fixing parks and stuff like that. But I don't know, $50 for someone who owns a $200,000 condo to fix the park, is that worth it?
I don't know if I feel like I'm in a position to say because it's not my neighborhood. Like I don't live there. I don't own property or whatever.
You were just at Jazz in the Park, though. Or even
I was at Bastille Days.
I was going to say Bastille Days, which is at that park.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, I kind of agree with you that it's always nice to improve our parks, but at the same time, I think that there are a lot of things that I personally just kind of believe in not building new stuff. I feel like we should conserve our resources and put them towards the most important things like education and healthcare.
How about the fact that it's actually contained just to the downtown east side, so just the people in that area? Whereas, so say it was a citywide tax, it'd be obviously you'd be dipping into everybody, but it would take less, maybe only be, $10 per person in the whole city for that. Or should it be contained to just the people who are within like walking distance of it?
It should be their decision too.
Right.
I think they should be able to vote on that, and if they decide yes, then majority of people, if they're fine with it, then I think that's fair.
What do you got, Justin?
Oh, I was just gonna say another. I mean, yeah, like what Saab was saying, adding probably isn't like a good idea. Maintaining, that's another thing. But like, I don't know. Like, I mean, I was just at the park with Duke over there. Not supposed to have dogs there, I know, but
Gordon Park.
Yeah, or not Gordon, the one right
Pumper
next
Station.
to it. Yeah, is that the one like Humboldt and Chambers?
Yep.
And it's just trashed, like, at the end of every weekend, just trash, garbage all over, It's just people come in to play basketball and they just bring tons of food and, it would be. I mean, it's just, there's garbage cans all over there, so there's no excuse for like this much garbage just littered throughout the park.
I do have to wonder why it is people can't pick up after themselves.
Right. And that's like,
bad habits. No one getting mad at them for it. Or parents not teaching their kids.
I always used to think it was because it wasn't their own house. Yeah. But then I think to enough people's houses that's how they treat
inside their cars.
That's how they treat everything. So it's not them being disrespectful to a place
and
they
I would
don't
say,
have. It's just
I would say that's
the way they are.
Employ someone to go clean it up, but that's
taxpayer money
seems
again.
Wasteful. And the obvious solution is that you would have a cop sit there and give some fines.
See, and I don't want that because then I can't take my dog there anymore.
Yeah.
What about more of our inmates cleaning it up?
Oh, I'm really.
You're really against that?
Slave
I'm
labor.
I'm very.
Chain gang, man. Bring back the chain gang. I don't.
Well, our prison population is the vast majority is black males, who are being picked up for minor violations.
Right.
On a lot of cases, marijuana and things like that.
We have way too many small misdemeanor
small
people
drug
in
use things,
jail,
and more than in college. There are more black people, black men in prison than in college.
Wow.
And the prison industrial complex is just as scary as the military industrial complex.
It's actually scarier.
It's a business.
It's privatized.
Yeah. It's a privatized business. So first of all, it should not be a business.
It should never be privatized.
It's almost as bad as health industry too. As far as keeping people sick, keeping people in prison.
I always forget about that one. That's one
it should
that
be
really
a not-for-profit. There should be no profit whatsoever coming out of prisons.
No.
And then what they're doing is they're having these prisoners. Prisoners would be happy to work for $1 a day sometimes.
Oh, right.
But so now you have slaves.
Plus you get out. Well, but you're also getting them out of a cell.
Right. But
is it worse to be in a cell or on a chain gang in a day?
Yeah, but
I don't know.
That's
but
not the
issue. Point is that if you
They're in prison.
if you put me if you put me in a torture chamber and twisted my knuckle all day long, and then said, you know what, I'll stop twisting your knuckle if you give me $100. I'll give you $100. It doesn't mean that you're doing me a favor. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm not saying the chain gang is a favor. It's doing a community service.
But it ends up being slavery, basically. We've enslaved.
Well, we're already enslaving them.
Right.
Only we're enslaving them on a chain instead of enslaving them inside of a house.
So
what's the difference?
My thinking about it is,
what's the difference if you're chained up or if you're stuck in a cell?
I would agree with you, except that I would say that I'm so skeptical of the prison industrial system complex.
I know what you're saying. I'm being devil's advocate on a lot.
It all comes down to if we didn't have, if things didn't work the way they worked, we wouldn't have this thing. You know, if people couldn't just raid like the taxpayers, you know, like I mean, if there wasn't just a tab, they could just keep throwing this on. You know, it's like
that's the thing. Well, there shouldn't be a tab.
Yeah, I know there shouldn't be a tab. Everything should be paid for. Everything
should just be
figured
part
out.
of it.
Yeah, and it's yeah, there shouldn't be a. Okay,
we're really gonna have to wrap up here because
we got a minute.
we got some heated discussions going on in this round of Jim and Friends Read the News. We might have to pick it up next Sunday.
Mac and cheese, if you guys are.
Real quick.
It's macaroni and cheese
on the way out.
It's carnivore mac and cheese. All right.
Carnivore mac and cheese.
Yeah.
All right, do it quick.
So,
we got 1 minute.
5 cups heavy whipping cream. 1/2 of a 3-inch cinnamon stick. That's interesting. 2 cups granulated Parmesan cheese. 1 3/4 cups of good quality goat cheese. 2 2/3 cups of good quality crumbled blue cheese. Freshly granulated nutmeg to taste. 1 box of Campbell. I can't pronounce it. It's kind of pasta.
All right.
Okay. Well,
it's macaroni and cheese. We're gonna have to go.
There's also chives.
And we'll link to that recipe.
Yeah,
we'll link to the recipe on the website.
So,
and we'll link to a couple of the other things that we went to on the website today.
So this is Jim and Friends Read the News, August 5th. We are here with Justin Prop, Gabe Hammer, Zavlope, and Jim Van Vunderen. We will see you again next week, and stay tuned for Chuck and Santiago. Thank you, and good night.